Hello and welcome to the Free Cheese, episode 429. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Matt Sellner.
Hello.
Mark Augustiniak.
What's up?
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games, brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. Switched it up, but you guys were right there, hot on the heels of the old switch up. You didn't get messed up in the order of introduction.
No, you definitely caught me off guard there for a second.
Well, you know, I do what I can.
I react responsibly.
I keep it fresh, you know? And nobody knows. Because one week they're going to hear one first, and they're going to be like, oh, man, the other one's my favorite. Where's he at? Right here. We're all right here. Everything's good. Stay safe. Stay sane. That's a podcast. Quick question for you guys. Rez, the video game, turned 20. I would say that game is recommended you play with headphones. What is your favorite game to play with headphones?
Mark, you first. I might have a good segue.
Obviously a lot of horror games are going to be recommended, but I feel just because I play it almost exclusively on PC and almost always in headphones, my answer is going to be kind of lame because it's everything.
Fair.
That's a good answer. No, once controllers started allowing headphone ports, I did that a lot. Especially because it kind of coincided with the PlayStation 3, and at that point, not PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and when I was playing a bunch of that, it was after delivering pizzas until 1, 2 in the morning. So just by default, I'd want to keep it quiet. So I fell into that. These days, probably less. But I would say, since Matt, you have a good segue, I'll leave you for last, and I'll say that, I'm going to go with Ridge Racer for PSP. I was going to say Patapon, but I thought about it, and I straight up bought a $10 pair of Sony earbuds from Sony.com. To use specifically with my Sony handheld products. And yeah, Ridge Racer for PSP was the last one I did because of that good jazz music. Just something about it.
Yeah, actually, yes. Anything with an amazing soundtrack, perfect for that. But now you got me thinking for some reason, Pokemon Crystal or Gold and Silver. Something about a Game Boy with headphones. I don't know what it is. It's like... it's weird how much quality that can add, but you can already hear the chiptune. Like there's not some kind of clarity added to it, but also just that soundtrack.
It makes me feel like I have a credit card. You know what I mean? Like it's like I feel like a grown up when I plug headphones into a Game Boy. You know what I'm saying? Because like who did that back then? But people had credit cards.
Totally did. You get it with that whole set of like, oh, here's your worm light, here's your big magnifying screen, here's your car charger.
Yeah. And then
but back then we had the headphones that were like the foam balls. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. With the bad metal band at the top.
Yes.
Matt, what game is necessary to use headphones with?
Tetris Effect.
Yeah, great soundtrack, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That was the first time when I played that game through, it was all headphone style. That's a good point. Very good one. Which brings us to...
You're welcome.
Thank you. Tetris Effect is currently our game of the year. We reach the final game in our ranking system this week. At least final game in terms of top 5 as voted by thefreecheese.com over the last 5 years. We'll find out if Tetris Effect can be dethroned as we talk about 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, released last year. Although a little weird, this was released the year before in Japan, last year in America, and I believe Europe as well. Still trapped on the PS4, so you cannot play this anywhere else. I wish that would change. It's just hitting its second anniversary. There's like a second anniversary live stream that just got announced. I think that's more going to be like what they do in Japan with games like this, where they just like talk to the voice actors and like, how did you like doing that character? And they go, I like doing that character. And then they talk about whatever other thing they're doing. But it'd be nice if they announced a little port of this one, but we'll see. To that end, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim is a very unique game from Vanillaware. There really is not anything like this game. It's split up between a story that takes place all over time, where you're kind of running. You move your chosen character of the 13 protagonists. You're moving them storybook style, I would say, like across these kind of diorama-esque settings. And you can make small choices in dialogue, things like that. And you're slowly just learning more about what's happening here. Because it's one of those stories that's kind of presented out of order. And then you can choose the order that it's presented to you in. So you choose your character, and that kind of dictates where you go next. There are certain kind of like hard locks in the pathing where like, hey, you need to complete this person's chapter 3 before you can move on with this person's chapter 7. So some of it's forced, but generally speaking, you can kind of jump all around. And then the other side of it is the tactics, like grid-based tower defense thing that takes place, which adds a different level of gameplay to it. But I think the story feeds into that stuff eventually. Like they felt very separate. They really felt like two games kind of jammed together for a while, but inevitably they do come together, and you get to understand a little bit more. And there's story reasons why some of the mechs are more advanced and some of them are not. And I don't know, that one just the deeper it went, they kind of like lined up the story as like this double helix DNA strand looking thing, and the deeper it went, the more swirling and everything, and swirling and connected that whole story and world felt. I was very, very into that. Mark, you played a good bit of it too, right?
Yeah, it's hard to say anything about it without spoiling it, because it's one of those games where it's like the less you know, the better. Just jump into it. If you kind of like anime, if you kind of like sci-fi, with a hint of action strategy, this is for you for sure. Yeah, like it's a game, like I love Vanillaware, like I've always loved them, but I'm still sad I never went back to like finish this one. But I think I got pretty far, probably close to halfway, if not last time I played it. But yeah, I wasn't expecting it to go to places that it did, and like how it did it, and just like the twist that it had. I was like, okay, yeah. I love how cerebral it can be, and it kind of reminded me of like when I would play like the Zero Escape series, more or less. It hit a lot of notes that I enjoyed from that game, so right up my alley. Yeah, definitely one of a kind. Definitely stands out.
Yeah. It different for Vanillaware, but I think just different on its own. I had a lot of fun. I know that this is a tired point, but I really think this would be great on Switch, because I played a lot of this game remote play. Like I would wake up in the morning and remote play to my phone or my Vita in some cases. I think the Vita at that point, they had stopped really updating the remote play whatever. And so Vita Remote Play feels a little more laggy than the app on my phone did at the time. But it was cool because I could jump in and do some of the tower defense stuff right from my phone or my iPad or whatever. And then, I don't know. Yeah, I liked that part of it a lot. So I think it would work really well on Switch. But beside the point, it's just an engaging story, a different story. And then, yeah, it pulled from so many different anime, movies, and sci-fi stories and things like that. It pulled the best stuff and then kind of wove it together in a story of its own. And it then like inspired me to go search out, because I remember reading interviews with the director of the game and seeing like what inspired the story and things. And I was like, oh, I've never heard of that. What's that? You can kind of go in different directions. But yeah, really, really like it. It also really made me want, I feel like you can't talk about this game without talking about the yakisoba pan, which is the noodle bread sandwich. Which, yeah, that's
a staple.
It is, and this game had a lot of like good food, which you wouldn't think in that type of game. But I don't know. It's a game I don't think enough people have played. I wish more people would play it, and could play it. I should say. Like, I don't know. I was hoping that after Persona 4 hit Steam, 3 did also. Did 3 or just 4? Just 4.
Yeah, just 4.
But I was hoping that like after that, maybe Atlas would be like, oh, we're putting things out on Steam. Although, I know that this is a tangent, but I know that like companies like Capcom are taking a lot of Japanese companies are taking a more renewed interest in Steam or PC just as a platform because they've seen a ton of growth there. So I'm hoping that a lot of that stuff we do start to see make its way out there.
Definitely.
But yeah, man, just put it on Switch. That's the name of the game. The ranking of 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. I will say that at times this game is Nier-esque, but I don't think it quite reaches as high as Nier Automata. I will say that at times it is Final Fantasy VII Remake-esque, but I don't think it reaches as high as Final Fantasy VII Remake. I've got this one, for me, right around the Persona 5 Royal situation.
That's exactly where I'm at, too.
And I don't know if I like it over... I think I do like it over Persona 5. I don't think it beats Hitman, but I think it's over Persona 5. Matt, I know it's a weird ranking for you, but where...
Who's you?
Hmm?
He says a weird ranking for you. It was you. Me.
For you, yeah, I said Matt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, I could pull up the 2020 Game of the Year, kind of take a look at where we had things relative, and look at it there. But no, 2020 is, I think, the year we messed up not messed up. We reordered the most of all of everything, so I don't think that's quite helping. I mean, you guys talked highly of this game at the end of 2020, so much so that it made me want to play it. I just never got to it. My backlog consisted of From Software games this year. So I'm still very intrigued. It seems like it has that. It's not Catherine, but it has that weird Catherine thing of like it's like two games in one, where it's like a storytelling. Catherine's like a storytelling, relationship builder kind of thing, dating sim almost in some ways. And then there was the hard as nails puzzle aspect to it on the other side of it, and this seemed like it had that, where it was like this visual novel of sorts, and then it had this tactics like combat to it. And I've heard nothing but great things outside of you all talking about this from those that have played it. I don't think for me personally, I don't think it needs to leave PS4. I just need to get to it. But no, I just remember how high you guys were on it last year, and I do think that if I played it, I'd be higher on this. So like, I don't know. I'd be tempted to put it above a Hitman just because it is so unique, but that is, I have not played it, so I can't be the one to push it there.
I mean, here's the thing. I feel like if it climbs over Hitman, it climbs over Control for me as well.
I'm okay with that. I like Control a lot, but no, seriously, this game is as
it's
good and unique. I think it deserves to be bumped up the list. I mean, Control has a cool world, a somewhat cool character, and but at the end of the day, it plays as a very good third-person shooter. It is a third-person shooter. If this is doing something new and unique and has a interesting story as much as Control's was, which Control's story is not the part of that I like. It's the world around it. I'm sure this world has a unique feel to it. I have no problem putting it above Control.
Mark?
That made me think quite a bit there. And like, yeah, like as much as I do love Control, I think where it lacks is where 13 Sentinels excels. And if I'm going by that logic, I would put it under Yakuza. Because like Devil May Cry is a fun game, but like that story isn't as rich to me as 13 Sentinels is.
Yeah. And it does do the thing in Devil May Cry where it is bouncing between characters, but I feel like when it bounces between characters, it's a little more erratic than even 13 Sentinels was. And 13 Sentinels is so disparate with all of the characters at first, like where it feels very much like these hard pivots, but it slowly comes together and intertwines very nicely, where I feel like Devil May Cry didn't. It did, but not as well, I don't think. All right, does it beat Yakuza Like a Dragon? Matt's pumping the brakes.
Like I say, I never played it, so I can't be the one to deny it. But I think like Mark hasn't played Yakuza. You're kind of the only one, Joe, that has dabbled in both these games.
No, I think it stays right below Yakuza. There's part of me that wants to jump 13 Sentinels higher and higher, but I think right below Yakuza makes sense, because while Yakuza was iterative on the past, it was also a new step for the franchise, and I think it also wholly kind of encapsulates what Yakuza was up to that point, right? Like it really like it did the Yakuza thing and it did it super well, and then added new and took steps toward a new future with that. Yeah. And I think that like that stuff weighs more a bit than I think 13 Sentinels, but I think okay. I'm good with that. I'm going to stop before you guys start changing your mind and this list gets hairier. So, did we read the list? So what we're going to do for our listeners is next week we're going to return to the list and discuss Breath of the Wild. Because I feel like it was a big game in the last 5 years and one that didn't end up on this. Also, as it stands, we are at
it just made it.
Wait, what? How'd this work out?
What?
We're at 28 games. Oh wait, I know what happened. Never mind. Stay with me. Stay with me. But yeah, we want to round out this list a little bit more. Get it to a nice clean number. So we're going to come back and talk about Breath of the Wild next week. Should we go bottom up?
Yeah.
I still feel like right now this is, hey, here's our last 5 years, game of the years. Plus, remember along the way, we've added 3 that we felt like made sense to be added in. We've each added 1 game. Why don't we split this up? Matt, you want to work your way up from the bottom and then stop around
I'll stop
20?
at my game I keep bringing up, and especially
yeah, perfect.
All right, so starting at 28, right?
Well, yeah.
All right, starting at number 28, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. 27, Super Mario Odyssey. 26, The Last Guardian. 25, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. 24, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 Remaster. Is just Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Just 1 and 2 is what they called it, I think.
Lost my
23.
23, Cuphead. 22, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. And then, of course,
Hold on.
What? Did I miscount?
22, I had something different.
Yeah. There was another game before Bloodstain.
I was reading off the Pages document too.
Right? Like it's after Final Fantasy 15's between Cuphead and Bloodstain, right?
That's what I've got.
Okay. Yeah, the Excel doc has Cuphead between Tony Hawk and Final Fantasy. Where'd I screw up at? Or where's the mess up at?
Oh, I thought you went
Skip
from
Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I thought you went from Cuphead straight to Bloodstain.
Oh, did
Yeah.
I? Oh,
Yeah.
that's just because I only like talking about Final Fantasy. Sorry.
You really hated that game.
All right. Sorry. So Cuphead is at 7, 6, 5, 4, 23. Final Fantasy 15 is at 22. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is at 21. And then our favorite game to talk about on this list, number 20, Celeste.
Nice. Then we've got 19, God of War. 18, Red Dead Redemption 2. 17, Fire Emblem Three Houses. 16, Splatoon 2. 15, Hyper Light Drifter. 14, Persona 5 Royal. 13, Hitman. 12, Control. 11, Devil May Cry 5. Number 10, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. Mark, can you take us to the top?
Sure. And then at number 9, we have Yakuza Like a Dragon. Number 8, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Number 6, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And number 5, Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Oh, wait. Am I doing this
That
right?
should have been 6.
Sorry.
Sorry. All good.
Now number 5, Resident Evil 2. Number 4, Doom. 2016 version for people who are familiar. At third place, Half-Life Alyx. And then at second place, Nier Automata. And then at number 1, Tetris Effect.
I feel like it's a solid list. I'm curious what happens next week with Breath of the Wild to see if there's any final shakeups. But I think this is a solid list.
Yeah, definitely.
I think this encapsulates the last 5 years pretty well. There's definitely some things missing around the edges.
Not sure what game
Lot
you
of
want to
games
play
are
next? Pick one.
Yeah, I mean, really. All right, I think I got everything updated. So we'll be back next week with that one, and then we've got, we'll have to start thinking about some other recurring segments to come up as we get into our next season of the show. Until then, we're going to build on the Game & Watch conversation from a few weeks back. Game & Watch Zelda Edition has a lot of little nice touches inside. So we're going to talk about nice touches in video games. I also noticed that while playing Shin Megami Tensei 5, my favorite nice touch that was like, you did not need to do this. You could have done this in any other way, but like, I'm happy they went the extra mile. The fusion in this game. So Shin Megami Tensei, for those who have not played, you are collecting demons like you collect Pokemon, and they make up your party of, who you're fighting with. And rather than like evolving a Pokemon, what you do here is you fuse demons, and combining two demons yields a new demon as a result. Not every demon can be combined, etc., etc. But you go into this little menu. In this game, you're talking to another goddess demon lady, and she helps you to fuse two demons together. If you have no plans of playing this game, just go look up Shin Megami Tensei 5 fusion sequence and just watch the actual fusions. It's so cool. It feels like you are it feels like you're creating Frankenstein's monster.
Right.
Like it's got that whole, it's that like,
I was literally about to say that. It feels like you're about to, the lightning's about to strike for Frankenstein.
Yeah. Matt was doing the air piano, but like straight up, like you have this huge like semicircle keyboard that you're playing on for no reason. Like your character just has no piano affinity, but of course here they are diddling away.
So, and something that's skippable too, right? And realize how I'm asking this question because I have not tried to skip it yet.
Oh, I've been skipping it a little bit, but
you're farther along than me. I think I've seen it like 4 times, but each time it's awesome.
It's super cool. And yeah, you get to see Demon 1 and Demon 2 just kind of like take their place on stage while you're there. Also, the demon goddess that you're working with to do the fusion, initially she's just kind of like normal person's size, standing kind of right there on the screen. When the fusion takes place, she fades off into the background. When she comes up, it's just this gigantic head in the background, like Andros, just looking over everything.
Oh.
It's an incredible little nice touch. But yeah, I think that was one where, like, when that happened, I was like, man, y'all did not have to do this, but I'm super happy that this is what you decided to do with this game. Little nice touch. Mark, what nice touch have you appreciated in a game recently or
in
memory?
I got a list. I don't know if you want me to go
Hit us
through
with
it
one.
all.
We'll jump around. I got a couple more.
Okay. My first example, first thing that came to mind, Star Fox 64. If you just hang around at that splash screen just for a little longer, you just move the joystick. You move the 64 in the logo Star Fox 64, and all the characters just look around and follow it the entire time. And it just a cute little thing.
That is a nice touch. That speaking of Star Fox 64, I saw recently with the Switch Online stuff, because I've got the Japanese and the American accounts on my thing. The Japanese logo for Star Fox is different for Star Fox 64, and I have to pull it up and look at it. But like even the tail is different on the little 64. But like
yeah, because like for them it's not called Star Fox, right? It isn't called like Lilac Wars or something like that.
It is now. I can't remember if that's how it is on 64 or not. Hold on, I gotta pull it up. But yeah, super cool little touch.
Can't remember if that game had another small touch like that or not. I don't think it did. But a lot of my ones, I think, are mostly from Nintendo games.
This one does say Suta Faksu.
Okay.
But I'll have to look at it. Yeah, either way, the menu just a little bit. I mean, this is not going to play for an audio show, but I can play it for you guys. But yeah, like the 64 looks a little different. And the X has a little tail on it.
Just gotta one up everyone else. I
know, man.
One up.
Thanks, Japan.
Japan.
But yeah, I miss that era of like we're playing with 3D models, like the Mario 64 little nice touch at the beginning, like that stuff is
yeah. That was on my list too. Just doing the face warp, like that is no place to be anywhere. They're just like, you know what, whatever. We'll just throw it in there. Who cares?
Yep. Matt,
I went a different direction, but you're jogging some things here. I'll come back to those later. First one though, for the PC gamer, having a benchmark in your settings, so that way I don't have to go in and out of the game into like the most crowded, crunched area to figure out this is running properly or not. If you have the benchmark, it does all that work for me. I just watch that 1 minute little video. I don't mind watching that 1 minute video 30 times to get it perfect. But I do hate running into the same into that environment 5 times to see if the game's running well. There's something quite annoying about that. So yeah, no, a benchmark for in your settings for PC is a tremendous help.
Yeah, no, that is a nice touch. Because not every video game gets a Digital Foundry breakdown, you know?
No, there's not enough time.
No.
And like to add to that, whenever like there's settings and they actually explain and give visual examples of what these mean, thank you. Like I remember, like was it Resident Evil 2 or 3 would do that in the settings for PC? It'd give you like an actual visual. Like, hey, this is what's gonna look like when you set it on this setting. It's like, thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I needed.
Yep.
Because I don't know my terms.
One other one that popped up for me this week, or was it last week? I can't remember now. All of that new backwards compatibility stuff hit Xbox, and Ridge Racer 6 came along, which coincided nicely with, I think, literally a Sunday morning. John Linneman, speaking of Digital Foundry, put up a Ridge Racer retrospective on the Ridge Racer 5 and forward, or 6 and for PSP and forward, whatever it was. But 6, he talked about a bunch for the Xbox 360, and that dropped on backwards compatibility. I grabbed it, and one thing that was nice touch. The speedometer is in the bottom right corner of the screen. And as you drive through a tunnel, the speedometer, it doesn't need to because it's already bright orange, but it fades to a blue, and there's like a little underlay, like glow light underneath of it, just like when you're in dark sections. But you can like see it change in real time, just like you'd imagine a car dashboard would. But like, didn't need to do that, but just this little nice touch that someone just took a little extra time just to code in there. I really liked that one.
Yeah, I feel like I would be that person, like being like, "Yo, you know, it would be really cool," and then the programmer's just like, "Why?" Fine.
It's really good though. Yeah.
When you play like Luigi's Mansion, you have a button dedicated for just calling Mario.
Every game needs a Mario button, I think.
It doesn't help you in any way, but you just hear the Luigi just go Mario, and like, all right, cool.
I wonder what the story was behind that. Like, is it that they had the extra space for audio, that they had a button that was unused? Like, what led them to being like, I don't know. Here you go.
It's some dedicated role playing there.
Yeah. Matt, you got another nice touch?
Metal Gear Solid. And this is most of the games. I like the fact you can just smoke a cigarette. Whenever.
Yeah.
Just slowly tick down the health bar, but, you know, Snake's just doing his thing.
Yep.
Does that help in any way with the game?
I don't think so.
Does it ever show you, in my head, it showed you laser sights, but that may have been what I wanted it to do and not what it actually did.
I never used it that much. I mean, I never used it just because it ticked away the health bar, but in later Metal Gear Solid, it might help with, I think stamina becomes, I forget what they call it, but it's not called stamina, but something like that is introduced in 4, and it might help with something there. But no, I think in OG, I think it's just straight up you're smoking cigs, and you see the little puff of smoke from your face, and you're in training light.
Pretty good. Did they put that in Smash Brothers? Can you smoke cigarettes in Smash Brothers?
Well, I mean, look, they couldn't let a character in with the gun. Here comes Joker. Maybe they'll let Snake use a cigarette.
That's true.
Hatchet.
You just need a Smash to fix it, you know? I think you need a whole new...
Yeah. Smash has a lot of nice touches, I would say. That's another... I think Smash Brothers is a full game of just nice touch.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All the little nods. Mark, you have anything else on the list?
Yes. So this one was kind of recent because like I've been like slowly playing through. Well, I guess not slowly, pretty quickly playing through the Borderlands games.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm on 3 currently, and I found this shotgun, and I was like, wow, they did not need to do this. They basically made the super shotgun from Doom as a gun to pick up in that game, and like the description for it was something about like, you know, like slaying demons and being like bathed in their blood or something like that, and or like sending them to hell or something. And every time you fire the gun, it plays the low string of a 7-string guitar.
Oh, that's really good.
Every time you fire it, so it's just like burner. I was like, this is my favorite gun, and like everyone's like catches on fire. I was like, it's cool to have the shotgun, but like just that nice touch was adding that like that metal to it, and I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
This game got better.
Yeah. Matt, anything else on the list for nice touch?
Double back on the MGS smoking thing just to make sure. It did sense infrared lasers, but the reason why I never considered using it is because later, and not too far into the game, you have to acquire something to get through a certain room with a bunch of lasers. So yes, it did. You were correct with lasers. However, a quick hitter here, another one from the PC gamer. A built-in FPS counter into your game, please. And I'm looking specifically at you, one Cyberpunk 2077. All the customization options in the world, but you can't give me a goddamn FPS counter. All right.
I'm still...
Okay.
My intrigue with that game has spun back around, but I'm not ready to do it yet because I know it's not in the place where it needs to be. I'm also unsure that it will ever reach that point. I don't know.
The next gen consoles it will.
I'm gonna have to wait for 2078. You know, because think about it: The Witcher 1 and 2 were fine, but no one cared until The Witcher 3 came along, right? So, we might need to wait. We need to wait a long time.
Well, it might be waiting to the year 2078 the way they operate.
True. One more that I thought of was the when you blow your 3DS. If you're sitting on the menu and you just do a quick little puff of air into the microphone, whatever icon is on the top screen spins in a circle.
Yeah, or if you like tap the back of the 3DS, I think the logo bounces or something like that.
Yeah, there's a little nice touch. Mark, final call for?
Yeah, these other ones I can run through pretty quickly.
Yeah. I didn't realize you had a list. Yeah, hit them, run down them.
It's about like 4 or 5 more. It's not too many, but just about 50 more. But yeah, like in Half-Life Alyx, when you can like I said before, just crushing a can at different levels, I thought was just so cool. Just the harder you grip the Valve Index controller, the more the can gets crushed. Still love that. Can't get over it. So pointless, but so worth it.
No, but that's it's the next step, man. Like, you need to do that to start building the immersion a little bit more.
Yeah, like feeling the haptics of it and everything. Yeah, a lot of stuff. That game is just full of nice touches. In Zelda, yeah. In Zelda, specifically any of the 3D ones, but more so Ocarina and Majora's Mask. Like playing an instrument, like when you play the Ocarina, the fact that you can almost play like a full scale, and then you could do sharp and flats with the joystick if you tilt that up and down. No songs require you to do that, but you can just do that. You could just play just a song if you know a song, if you're musically inclined or whatever. Is that the right term?
Do you think anyone's performed a full concert using just that instrument set?
Probably. I'm sure people have taken, like, in Majora's Mask, you get each instrument and kind of layer that all together. I'm sure stuff out there exists. When the alternate boot up sound to the GameCube.
Oh, by holding the, yeah.
And then even more so, if you have 4 controllers doing it, you get another one. Thought that was cool. The skulls in Halo, specifically Halo 3, when you headshot grunts or anybody, like the confetti pops out of their heads and you hear like kids screaming. That's my favorite. And then
kids screaming, that's my favorite.
Yes. Just yeah. And this one, I don't know if it's not more so, I guess it is a nice touch, but this one is also just I feel like it's a main feature of the game, but in Hades, the way it keeps continuity with your gameplay. The dialogue keeps changing. Like, the game is self-aware of you going through multiple times, and the dialogue will keep going based off of that. It's it rarely ever resets, or if it does reset, it's in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I always thought that was nice.
I still need to go back through that, or try that one. I haven't played that one at all. I saved up my roguelike bank for Spelunky 2, and then jumped into that one a bit.
That's it for me.
Matt, any other nice touches?
this serves for the game a little bit, but I still think it's a nice touch. Again, Metal Gear Solid was specifically for this time, that little dream sequence on your way back to Shadow Moses when you play the original intro sequence through the game. I mean, it does a lot to get the nostalgia going, and it serves its purpose going into Shadow Moses, but I think it was pretty cool to allow you to replay that sequence to see how far the game has come. Also, if you didn't want to play, you could easily just exit out of it, and Snake will wake up. You didn't have to complete it. So I thought that was a nice little touch. And then I guess a good touch for when a game is being remade, taking some creative liberties. In a Demon Souls remake, some of the bosses, as their soul, that little animation of their the souls fading away, some of the bosses create a brief little picture or model of what that demon used to be, like the original person before it became corrupt due to its lore. Something obviously not possible probably on the PS3, but due to the power of the PS5, they were able to kind of do manipulation with some of the animation and stuff. So
that's
kind of
neat.
Poking at the lore a little bit there. And in that, the documentary, YouTube.
No clip.
In that documentary, they said they kind of had to take some creative liberties with that, since there wasn't really anything to go off of. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That is, yeah. Do you think that technology is necessary to push the nice touches? I think a lot of the examples we talked about were like there was something new with the hardware, therefore the software could change. Do you think it is reliant on that? I think most of our examples kind of called back to that.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean,
do you think? Well, I was gonna say, do you think we could still get things like that? But I mean, Borderlands 3 is pretty new. Demon Souls, very new, right? I think they're all I think we still do get that.
Yeah, anything because I was trying to think. I feel like anything I mentioned was after the Super Nintendo. Many 8-bit or 16-bit games, I can't think of too many nice touches, except for Pokemon Yellow, where you can see how Pikachu is doing emotionally. Doesn't affect the game at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought that was.
But it was there, and how much of that influenced the friendship system in later games, whether or not, because I think what Gold and Silver had, it was you had to get Eevee to a certain level before it would evolve to Umbreon or Espeon.
During the day or night, whatever.
I wonder how much of that toying around in Yellow fed into what they would do with Gold and Silver, and
Yeah, I think. Yeah, for sure. Especially, think of indie stuff does this as well, but think of the AAA teams that are just keep growing and growing and growing in size. There's just a dude that works on bushes. At some point he's going to have to do something creative to shake up his day.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. He'll touch the bush,
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you noticed any nice touches in Halo Infinite as we've been continuing on our journey through the multiplayer beta?
Practice makes perfection.
Oh?
Over and over and over again for a +50.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. There you caught it.
Oh, practice makes perfect.
That's the name of the thing. Yeah,
nice. Got it. It's all coming back to me.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. So you're still upset about it?
Oh, yes. It's not good.
Mark, where's your temperature check on progression in the game?
Progression definitely needs some tweaking, some adjusting for sure. I still think back to Halo 3 or something where every medal you got in the game that got you were rewarded for that. It would help with your rank or not rank, but the little medal next to your name would change faster. I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of sucks at the end of the day. Where even if you won, and you got like a triple kill, or you got like all these cool things that you would have never done in another match for you haven't done in years or something, and then like, but because you didn't complete any of the tasks in your dailies or weeklies, you just get 50 XP, and it's just like, yeah, good job, bro. Like, that kind of sucks. It kind of hurts.
Yeah, I had one match where I was the flag carrier 3 for 3. I got the medal for Steak-tacular because we, dominated the match without letting them get another point. But I got an achievement for getting 2 flag carries in a single match. That was nice. Yeah. But I did the 3 and won the match for us, and nothing.
Plus 50.
And like, yeah, right. And like, I told you guys, but for me, I stopped looking at it. As soon as I get out of a match, I hit B to get away from that menu as quickly as possible, and then queue back up, and that's been my approach to it. But I do have a recommendation on how to fix this, right? I don't like to just complain about problems. I like to come with a solution. So here's my solution. I'd like 343 to call up Capcom. Take a look at a little video game called Monster Hunter Rise. Hear me out. Everything you wear and earn in that game, you literally earn in that game. You've got to go, the whole crux of the game is to go and do things to get things to wear, right? And to craft it. And now, granted, it's a single player campaign. There's not a multiplayer component. There's a lot of different things there, but still, like the things you're doing in Monster Hunter, actually, no, the whole game is you can play multiplayer or single player, right? So that's kind of something in and of itself, but you're collecting different pieces of materials to get certain, whatever. I think that is a system, again, like reward-based or action-based rewards or whatever. Then I started thinking about it like, well, how do you still got to make money, right? Because it's a multiplayer game. And this in particular is a free-to-play game, right? So how do you make the money? You just sell tie-ins, right? So now, I'm not saying, because Monster Hunter just did it for free. They just put out the Sonic the Hedgehog collaboration for free on Friday. And I love that it was free, and I played through it, and it rules. You could easily just say, hey, we're collaborating with Sega. Here's a $5, buy this $5 pack to get the Sonic pack. And then you get missions to unlock Sonic the Hedgehog's helmet for Master Chief, or whatever the heck, right? Like, you could do crossovers in that regard. Bake them in. Make it a Game Pass Ultimate perk. Make sure people are signing up for Game Pass Ultimate. But like the Sonic stuff in Monster Hunter, it was just a thing that showed up. Same thing with all of it. Like the Amaritsu stuff from Okami, the who else? Arthur, Akuma, all that stuff has just shown up as like, here's a new event for you to try. You jump in and do it. Like the Sonic one, you jump into the map like you're going to go hunt, but instead you hear Speed of Sound playing. Not Speed of Sound. What the heck is it called, Mark?
City Escape?
Thank you. Jeez. Not a bad Coldplay song. A good Sonic song. Yeah, City Escape starts playing while you run through the map collecting actual Sonic rings, and the sound effect is going off and whatever. They then, like, some of it they just straight up break, the fourth wall in a way. Others, they try and weave, like, Tails into the canon. Like, there's times where they call him Tails. There's other times where they refer to him, like, as the two-tailed fox. Like, as if it's this mythical being in the world of Monster Hunter, which I love. But, again, like, that just showed up. And then, like, if I want that stuff, I need to go do that specific mission to get the rewards to then craft the Sonic gear, right? To make my cat look like a Sonic. Or my Palamute have 2 tails and a weird jacket.
That made me think of something, and I wish they would have leaned into it hard. I wish there was, like, monster versions of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles that you had to actually kill.
Yes. Yeah, hunt down
armor that way.
Yep. That would have been like the or a big old Eggman style, like redo one of them with. There probably would have been a lot of. This is pretty.
Yeah.
But hey, for a paid add-on, I would have. You know what I mean? I would have done that. And like that's the thing is like just. There's been small little bits, like just as I've been playing Monster Hunter, that you kind of like as you go through the game, you unlock more armor options and armor, just different varieties you can combine, you can mix and match, you can do color swaps. There's a lot of stuff there in terms of, because what are we getting in the multiplayer of Halo, right? It's just personalization. That's all it is. It's just making your character look like you want your character to look. But so much of how you get that stuff is just like not fun to do. And we've seen the worst of it where people join a match, they do their two things and they bail from the match. We've seen the best of it where like you accidentally do a bunch of stuff, or you, even when you're chasing down the thing it says to do and you get that little whatever, but like, I don't know, there's still like, I try to look at it optimistically, right? Like there is maybe a good piece of it because some of the challenges that you get are encouraging you to do things that are a little bit different than what you would normally do, right? To try and use this weapon or use whatever. And like in the end, like that's all good achievements are, is just a little marker that signifies that you went out of your way to try something different as an option. And hopefully you've grown as a player of that specific game, but I don't know.
I think I can't remember what I said and didn't say last week, but I think you mimic. This is going to sound bad, but I think you mimic what Call of Duty is currently doing. You have your battle pass, but you also gain levels within that game, and as you gain levels, you get different things. Now, it will require 343 to double down like on artist and developing more quickly, like armor sets, color palettes, that type of stuff. I mean, there's probably things you could do to kind of even tweak that stuff. Like make each like limb have the ability to make each limb a different color or something weird. Like I'd be cool with that to allow for more customization options, but I feel like you still keep you keep what you have because it's going to be too much to redo it at this point. You keep what you have with the battle pass, whereas challenges that lead to a definitive weekly challenge, and then from there, I guess you're done for the week. And you keep leveling up the battle pass that way. But get the things, and this is what the Master Chief Collection did so well. The things you're getting, like the State-taculars, the killing sprees, like those medals, and make those the thing that give you the experience that's not in the battle pass, and have them unlock cosmetics, and then like take that to a certain level and do a weird thing where you can like prestige it and start over and get like cosmetics that are a weird color, or like the same stuff but just different palettes of colors or something like that. I don't know. Like I said, it's going to take that's a lot of pieces of art and models and things like that. I mean, I understand that part of it, but I was playing with people yesterday and we were joking the entire time. Win or loss, it was plus 50. Like at least like give me a plus 50 for a win. Like I know I'm not playing ranked. Like if you want to get that, like play ranked, you'll get ranked that way. But like at least throw a plus 50 my way for a win. Like. Make it at least worth going in to play the game instead of, have fun and play around and you'd be okay losing. But, sometimes it's worth it to give that little extra push for a win. But I think that's how, I don't know, I think you do the secondary progressions to your battle pass with the challenges as it is. And then you just have a regular, like, level that you see in Call of Duty all the time. You rank that up with your medals and winning or I guess just winning, because you would only get a plus. Almost like take the Master Chief Collection piece of it, and then besides you picking the what cosmetics or whatever you want, just like bring that progression, have auto unlocks with that, and then keep your battle pass up high as your secondary one, and then just maybe you make that exclusive $10 in season 2, and you don't you maybe throw a couple free tiers that way to entice people, but. I don't know. I think that's how you do. I think that's what is current, and I'm seeing I know small sample size, but people I was playing with yesterday. I don't know how long they're gonna stick with Halo because of the progression system. Like it's that bad.
But now you got a free gold visor that you didn't have to grind for anymore.
Right. Thanks. I don't even like the gold visor. I like the red visor better.
Tell you what I do like though.
To me.
I like the Rockstar energy drink colored skin that I got for the assault rifle because I bought 2 of those cans and redeemed the codes. That stuff, like, those are the ones where I feel like, I mean, all I did was go to a convenience store, right? But, like, still, I think, like, things like that where, like, I don't know, like the Halo Championship series, like that red, white, and blue armor that everybody has, they did something like that for Halo 5 after you had watched. Yeah, I mean, granted, they had a streaming platform at the time, but if you had watched the Halo Championship series on Mixer while signed into your Xbox Live account, it fed back to, or maybe they just gave you a code to redeem it or whatever, but like that's how you got that armor. And I feel like those types of things are more intriguing to me than grapple shot somebody, you know?
I'd be fine with that. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, call me whatever, but I like to see things go up. I don't know. I'm getting so used to it at this point.
Is there a way to view the medals you have unlocked?
I don't know.
Because I remember, like, old games, I feel like you could look and you could see, like, wow, I've gotten Steaktacular 1,000 times. I haven't
want to say
checked
yes.
it. I assume yes, but yeah, I know you can't in the app, but you can't really do much of anything in that app.
There's a Halo?
The Waypoint app.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But
that was good for that arcade machine.
But I mean, so generally speaking, though, outside of just the progression stuff, like, you guys still liking the game? Does it
It's
still
awesome.
feel good? Do you feel like you're learning more about it?
It's one of my favorite multiplayer games right now.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part.
Just like, yeah, but progression aside, the gameplay is still like the highlight of it all. And like the biggest high I ever got from this game so far is when I was able to like grapple shot a ghost, or no, a banshee. Grapple shot a banshee, kick the person out. Somebody eventually hijacked me because I flew too low to the ground. And then I reversed it by grapple shotting it again and kicked them back out and still be able to ride the banshee. Like, pulling that off is just one of my favorite things. But yeah, just almost any. There's like maybe 1 or 2 modes I don't care about, but like the rest of it, I'm always having a blast with.
Even I think Oddball is starting to become like this, like, every time I see it. But even after like 2 capture the flags and Slayer, like, I don't mind. Like, it's not my favorite game mode, but like after so many of not seeing an Oddball, I can be like, okay. It's when I get the second one, I'm like, ugh, again.
Yeah.
But no, it's awesome. All the weird, like, it's almost turning into like a battle royale. I mean, I guess any multiplayer shooter can have these moments, but like some of the stuff you can do in this game reminds me of things you can do in like a Warzone or Apex. Like it's the same thing over and over again, but each drop-in is very unique in in how you accomplish your goals. The weird moments that happen. I'm having more of those feelings in this 4-on-4, 8-on-8, or is it 12-on-12, whatever it is. Like modes that I haven't really had in a Call of Duty. Like, you still have those moments, but I feel like I'm having a lot more of them here, and it's not a battle royale. So I love this game a lot. The hooking the banshees, kicking someone out, especially when the banshee gets out of bounds and you kick the guy out of bounds, is awesome. The tower, I forget the name of the map. There is a tower in one of the maps, and the guy repulsed me off of it to try to hit me out of bounds, but I like sky hooked right back to the thing and like came up and meleeed him. Like, that was a cool moment. The guy thought he had me, turned around, nope, here I come again. Like, there's so many of these weird moments with these little gadgets that I didn't think would be so fun. All of them are fun. The repulsor is fun. The skyhook, of course, is great. Even the sensor, like, is probably not the most fun thing to use, but it's very useful when you know how to use it. All that stuff is so good, and that's like the modern thing I think Halo needed on top of its like standard traditional multiplayer, and I think that's what's making this so fun.
I have a clip. I was looking at my captures the other day because that's the thing. It's like I haven't really made many captures in Xbox history. Like occasionally I'll do a little like, ooh, look what I did, and hit the share button. But I had a bunch over the last week, and I looked at one of the videos and was like, what is this one? And it's just me like running along, like not really shooting, not really doing anything. I'm like, why did I capture this? Did I hit the button by mistake or something? And right in the last 10 seconds, you see my viewpoint spin and look up in the air as Mark is flying through the air, rips somebody out of a banshee, and then throws him to the ground and takes off.
So
that's why I grabbed that.
good.
But like, yeah, it's like there's so many little moments like that just like it's like you said, like you're kind of like the immersive gameplay where things just kind of happen because of the tool set that we have available. The more I play, the more I want to play more. You know what I mean? Like it's like it just keeps feeding itself. And I thought about it. And I was like, man, am I going to get tired of this? Like, because like everything, right? Like we always move to something else. But did you guys check out that Xbox museum?
No.
Where's this?
Oh, I'll send you a link to it. It's kind of cool. And listeners, maybe I'll try and find it at break so I can actually give the URL so listeners can check it out too if they want. You might, if you just search Xbox Museum, you might be able to find it pretty easily. But it's basically an interactive museum, like digital museums. You have a little avatar character, and I did it on my phone and my iPad or one of them. And there's an on-screen joystick that you can move your character with, and then you can kind of spin the camera. I think it probably works better with a keyboard where you're walking through and spinning around, but you walk through and there's these little digital map points that are all like, hey, here's from the first meeting that we ever had coming up with the idea for Xbox. Here's whatever. They also, this is really cool. They printed, they have like a bunch of stuff redacted, but they have the letter of intent to buy Nintendo that they've published for the first time for the public to see, but like where they actually tried to do that, and you can see where they met with, what's his name? Yamauchi. And like, yeah, like it's cool, man. Like there's all this stuff, but like you walk through and you can see these little touchstones. You can walk up to TVs and watch little videos from Xbox history. There's one part though where you can walk into your own Xbox history, and it shows you like the first time you signed on, literally, like and it has like to the date which Xbox consoles you've owned, which I guess they just kind of parse that by which Xbox Live platforms you've signed into, right? And then they show you the games that you've played the most of, the games that you have like you can look at your like rarest achievements. The one thing I grabbed a screenshot of for me was most played game each year. So remember, I had an Xbox 360 way back when, but that account was tied to like an old email that I don't have access to. So when I got the Xbox One S, I just started from scratch. So my most played game list here only goes back to 2017. But my fear of, am I going to get tired of Halo Infinite? Let me just read you my most played games per year. 2017, Halo, the Master Chief Collection. 2018, Halo, the Master Chief Collection. 2019, Halo, the Master Chief Collection. 2020, Halo, the Master Chief Collection. 2021, Near Replicant, version 1.22474487.
The year's not over yet.
True. Yeah, my most played game of all time, Halo 5. Top 5 most played games were Halo 5, Halo Master Chief Collection, Near Replicant, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and Tony Hawk's Skater 1 and 2. Weird. But yeah, I mean, I encourage, give that thing a little tour. There's still more I want to see, and like, because I was just kind of doing it to screw around, but you can actually go in and interact with things, participate with things. It's kind of cool. But yeah, I don't think I'll get tired of Halo Infinite. More than likely. Speaking of which, I'm gonna play a little bit more today. It's been a couple days since I have played, just with holiday runarounds and whatnot. Any other thoughts on Halo Infinite?
Play it.
Yeah. As somebody who doesn't, again, I don't play a lot of competitive online multiplayer games, but when I do, man, Halo is one of those exceptions, and it's a good one.
Yeah, it always feels good.
I was brought back last night. Sorry, I meant to share this, and I completely forgot about it till now. I was brought back to like 2010. I got a series of voice messages sent to me after a game, telling me that I was camping, which I don't know. I don't know when I camped, if I did, because I'm constantly moving in Halo, unless it's an objective-based thing, but it was a game of Slayer, so I don't know. Anyway, told me I was camping, and then told me I was trash, despite my KD being higher than his, and then told me I was a dork.
That's because you were camping and you cheated.
Right, and then he told me I was a dork, because I play on PC and not on Xbox, and then he sent a follow... he sent me a follow-up, like 5-second things to tell me that I'm trash to install the game. So I think the inbox of in Xbox's case, Matty Bow, is on his way back. So there's fun times ahead. Stay tuned.
And it was all voice memos.
Yes.
Wow.
But I'm just like, I'm just happy, because like, what did I do to piss off that guy that much,
Yeah.
Sadly,
I shut down all of those things.
Oh no.
Because of I kept getting all those dumb click here, want to play games naked together kind of messages or whatever stupid things get sent. And I was like, I'm tired of getting an alert and then looking and it's just garbage, so I blocked all whatever.
Yeah, Matt, you got to let us know when somebody sends you a message similar to that and they're just like, yeah, you're just mad because I can play guitar better than you, and then they poorly play Enter Sandman over the microphone.
Yeah.
I just send them a clip back of like Creed's Higher, just to make his day a little bit better.
Yeah. You should actually. I think that's
so. Let's
you
go
should do that this afternoon. Yeah. Record that whole thing. Record the entire Super Bowl 2001 performance of Higher. Send it right back to him.
I've been on the other end of that where like I was the person sending a mean message because I was so butthurt.
Oh, I've definitely been on that end too.
And like somebody has sent a message back of just a baby crying. I was like, all right, you win. Touche. Yep.
Oh man.
We're gonna make our escape to a break, and when we get back, we're gonna save the holidays and more. We'll be right back. Museum.xbox.com is the URL where you can go and view your own personal history. Matt, what was your number one game? You all did it on break.
Oh, my most played title is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
Look at you go. Mark?
Left 4 Dead 1.
There, yeah, that checks out. I wish I could merge my old account and see what's going on there, but alas, here we are. I hope that every platform continues to give us stat. I love stat tracking, man. Still don't know why we don't have that My Nintendo app that they have in Japan. That would be cool. And Don lied to me when I reached out to support with Nintendo, and Don said he would put my feedback forward. I don't think Don told anyone. Maybe he did.
Probably
maybe Don did.
Forwarded in English, and then they're like, oh, it's in English.
They didn't know what to do with it. They didn't know what to do with it, and sometimes you don't know what to do with your holiday shopping, which is why Matt has put together an expert. Here's, I think, what do we got? 5 scenarios?
4. We're not going to use that example.
4 scenarios that you may find yourself up against this Christmas or holiday shopping season.
Or similar situations where we're just practicing to make the best of a bad situation and possibly make it a very good one.
Yeah, and we, the experts, are going to weigh in. So, Matt, go ahead and hit us.
Yeah, so situation number 1. Martha is intending to buy a new Xbox for Bruce. Now, Bruce loves his fighting games a lot. However, Martha, because of the confusing naming scheme, buys a regular Xbox instead. What games do we get poor Bruce?
Now, by regular Xbox, do you mean an Xbox?
We
or do
made
you mean...
the original OG Xbox.
Okay, so Bruce is expecting a Series S or X, maybe even a 1, but Bruce gets an Xbox.
Yeah. But he likes his fighting games, though, so maybe let's dive into that, see the best of the good situation.
Fighting games on Xbox. I would say you could get Bruce Dead or Alive 3, I believe, was one of the early ones. And they later ported some of the other Dead or Alives in newer up-resed versions to the original Xbox. And what's really cool about those is, I'd have to double check that they support online, but a lot of those, if not all of them, were just made backwards compatible on Xbox One forward, so people should be able to play online together. So even though Bruce may be trapped with some 20-year-old hardware, Bruce should be able to connect with his friends with modern hardware.
So one that I would recommend then, because I was going to say Dead or Alive. That's a good answer.
Sorry.
No. Good answer. Another good one though. Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Aha.
That got ported onto there. That is a classic. Always to be enjoyed. And if for some reason he wants to enjoy some Capcom characters, but maybe not in a Marvel vs. Capcom setting, maybe settle for some SNK vs. Capcom Chaos.
That's a good answer. That's a very good answer. I think those are both good because, a lot of those are not around anymore, right? Not in that way. Like Dead or Alive, they're still making Dead or Alive games, but those right, classic.
But now we covered a 3D fighter, a 2D fighter, and then just a crazy arcade, hectic one, like a assist fighter.
I wasn't going to contribute, but I did happen to look up the list of what was available on the OG Xbox. Let me contribute another contender into The Ring. Def Jam Fight for New York.
Oh shit. Yeah, right. There, of course.
Got us.
It's a great adventure mode too, right?
Oh, the best.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think Bruce is going to have a happy season after all.
I hope.
Right?
I hope he goes to the theater the night before, all right.
Yeah.
Plus he gets a cup holder.
We'll see.
All right, the next scenario. Michael loves his indie games and wants a new Switch Lite to play them on the go. Keeps saying about how portable it is. And Aunt Linda, I think, gets a little bit confused about the portability, and she thinks all video games are a Nintendo. So she goes and buys a Game Boy Advance SP because of how portable it is.
Mm-hmm.
What are we getting? Oh, Michael.
I'm sorry, what kind of games did Michael like?
He likes indie games.
Indie games.
So, take that for what it is, but, how are we going to make this holiday a little bit better for Michael?
Ninja 5.0 on the Game Boy Advance is the answer for Michael. It is indie game in spirit. It is it's a different type of game for the Game Boy crowd, I think. And I think that would, because I think a lot of indie games now, right, like they pull from technical innovation and they try and go outside of their normal genre. Ninja 5.0 is it's a platformer, but it just does different things with platforming. It's not necessarily indie, but I think it has the indie spirit, right?
Yeah.
It's my gut answer.
There's something there, because, I feel like at this point, quote, indie games, haven't really, blown up in the GBA era. There were a lot of like obscure games for sure. But I'm gonna throw two in here. One isn't a GBA game, but GBAs can play older Game Boy games. So, and I'm sure Michael's mom loves a good discount. So she probably wouldn't mind picking up Shantae for Game Boy Color.
Mm. It was his Aunt Linda.
I'm sorry, Aunt Linda.
Yeah.
My apologies. Well, maybe the mom would tell Linda or something. You know, they'll work it out.
Yeah. Moms like to pass on savings.
Yeah. But to go with like not really an indie game, but that's the spirit of it. WarioWare.
That's what I was gonna say.
Mm.
Yeah. No, seriously, I was thinking like in the indie picture wasn't a thing, right? Like it is today. So I was just thinking in innovation, like just doing something weird and crazy, and WarioWare was always that game that was just weird and crazy to me.
I mean,
I think Shantae as well. Like Shantae pushed the limits of what Game Boy Color could do. And
yeah, sorry. I was just saying, I mean, like, Wario is technically an indie developer, so...
Yeah, it's true. It checks all those boxes. I think also if you want to get weird with pushing technology and whatever, just right alongside Ninja 5.0 from Konami, you've got Boktai. Yes. You don't get more... I mean, that is using the hardware to its fullest. I think also the thing, it's an SP. Okay, so it is backlit. So yeah, he's going to have a great time. Michael.
Yeah.
All right. Scenario 3. 10-year-old Timmy loves Sonic. His dad, Ben, has realized this and wants Timmy to appreciate him, as in Sonic, a bit more. Ben buys Timmy a Dreamcast. What game should we be getting Timmy to further make him love Sonic and Sega?
Besides Sonic Adventure?
Probably.
And 2?
I mean, that's the obvious one, right?
And it's a Dreamcast. Well, I think you can really... How old's Timmy?
10. You know, just old enough to not realize the Dreamcast is the thing, you know?
Is 10 too young to play Shenmue? Because not only could he really experience Sega for what it is, it sets the stage for what's to come from Sega with Yakuza and other games like it. Also, just this week, Shenmue 2, the US Dreamcast version, was discovered and dumped online. You can download and play that on original hardware now, if you have the means to do so. Which, I think that's cool because then you can introduce a whole... I mean, you got Shenmue 1 and 2 right there on the Dreamcast. And showing him the burned version of Shenmue 2, you kind of open up the idea... I think a lot of Sega has been lost to time, just like the Dreamcast. And I think that this could also open up the idea about rediscovering what once was lost. I think there's a lot of Sega that people have yet to even realize or appreciate. I think that we're still in the early days of like what we truly understand and love about Sega's history. I think that Sega Saturn is like completely, we're close, man. Like, I'm not just saying this because of my own personal whatever, but I feel like the fact that the Sega Saturn's getting some traction with Mister, I've seen so many other crowds just talking about Sega Saturn that otherwise wouldn't have, myself included. But like, there's a lot of untapped stuff in the old Sega stuff. So I think Shenmue and Shenmue 2 are a great combination gift here for Timmy, just in that regard.
All right. Mark?
So there's a couple things here. Like, not only, you know, will this help Timmy appreciate Sonic on a different level, but might also broaden Timmy's taste in games and maybe mature a little early, or not. We'll see. But if Ben is as cool as a dad as I think he is, he's going to get his son a Japanese Dreamcast and with a copy of Illbleed. And Illbleed will be Timmy's gateway to a whole slew of games that are just like that. But we'll also be introduced to Zoldyck the Hellhog. So,
Of course.
So yeah, he's going to get cool dad points for sure with this.
And Timmy will get cool 10-year-old Timmy points.
Right.
When he shows up to the playground talking about Sonic the Hellhog.
Timmy points is the highest currency. That's
There
more
you
than
go.
any ring in any Sonic game, more than any Chaos Emerald.
Yep.
I don't have anything else to contribute to that. All right, and then it's our last one. Jack Trenton is looking for a gift for Jim Ryan's kid. I don't even know if he has a kid. Disclaimer. Jackie T decides to give the middle finger to one Jim Ryan and get his kid an old school PS1. What games should we be getting the kid of Mr. Jim Ryan to make him appreciate old video games?
Gran Turismo 1. Just as a starter, I think.
And all the demo discs.
Yeah, I think yes.
Start with that, and then I think like hidden in that pile because it's all like gift wrap is the one thing you go through to like, oh cool demo disc, and at the very bottom get like an actual full released game underneath. But oh man, you know what? It's the jewel case to a game. You think it's going to be Tomb Raider, but inside is actually a Reba McEntire CD. Because a PlayStation can also play music, and you need to appreciate all elements of this console.
Yeah. And that's how you really realize it to the fullest, I think. That's very good. I think I was gonna say Croc, but I don't even like Croc, so I don't think anyone should play it. I think Die Hard Trilogy, the game, because it gives you a little bit of taste of what the PlayStation can do. It can do a top-down action game. It can do, a third-person action game. It can do a first-person shooter, or it can do a, realistic driving simulator. I think you get all of that in one sampler disc, much like a demo disc, right? But like the problem with the demo disc is, not that this is not me dunking on you, Mark. I don't mean it like that. Because I love a demo disc. But I just mean the one bad part about a demo disc is the demos come to an end. Here, the Die Hard Trilogy never stops giving. You just keep playing for hours and days and years and years and years. I think that works. Yeah, and then let's see, what other things have died because of the time? I think Twisted Metal 3, specifically, because that has Rob Zombie songs. I think... Boy, I gotta look at my shelf here. They're too far up.
I was going to say, as far as... I forgot my second one. As far as games kind of ongoing to go back and have a fond appreciation of, I know it doesn't hold up as well, but, I mean, if you're... Oh, shoot. Not from PlayStation, never mind. I got to retract what I was going to say. I'll be back.
Okay. No, so like for legit PS1 games, like I was kind of late to the PlayStation game, honestly, so I didn't like play a lot of that as it came out. Like I probably rented like Final Fantasy VII or something like that, but along those lines of Final Fantasy, I think you got to have one of those in there, right? And I know like 7's like a staple, that's like a shoe-in, and I think that the original PS1 version specifically, I think just still holds up today. Maybe that's just nostalgia for me or something, but just having like the slower frame rate and not seeing the mouth on the little chibi characters, I think goes a long way, because it's just weird seeing it now, or seeing that game in 60 frames at some parts. It's just weird to me.
Yeah.
But with Final Fantasy, the one I think would be cool is one of those like double pack PS1 disc. So I think this one was. Oh, I don't. Is it anthology? I don't think it's anthology. There was one that had Final Fantasy IV and Chrono Trigger together.
That is Chronicles.
Chronicles. That makes sense. Chrono Trigger. But yeah. So not only do you get like one of the like first like as Final Fantasy was blowing up, yeah, like 4 was like one of those big ones at the time before, obviously before 6, but also getting Chrono Trigger in there, plus with, the FMV scenes in there. And Mega Man X4, speaking of FMV scenes.
I think somewhere I was going to go with it. You can go two ways, right? You can have ongoing franchises still today and go back to them as like a callback to this is where it came from. Or you can just give him an option, not give him the option of going to present games because Jim Ryan might take away that game and say play the new one. So instead of Final Fantasy VII, why don't you go to the sleeper Final Fantasy IX because that does not have a modern remake.
True.
Also, let's just the origin of the brawler. I'm not talking about those dumb arcade ones like The Simpsons. I'm talking the true one, fighting force.
Heck yeah.
You need to understand that game to understand a lot of things in your life, and that's right there, just sitting on a shelf somewhere for someone.
I don't have it anymore.
Oh.
I do have Mega Man X4 for Mark.
Hell yeah.
And I've got the infamous Dr. Wily Mega Man 8.
Yes, yeah.
I think this is one that I always forget about, but I think how old are we talking here? Jim Ryan's
I don't
kid?
know. I just imagine he's
this is one for all
trying
ages.
to straighten out.
This is for all ages. Grand Theft Auto 2, I think.
That was the game I was going to say, but I was thinking 3, but I completely forgot that was PlayStation 2.
It's 2-1 with the announcer.
Yep.
Kill Frenzy.
Yep. Pinnacle of the series here, Turns out the disc is missing, so I don't know what happened there.
I got some Reba CDs if you need them.
It might be in the actual PlayStation. I don't know. I've been scared to hook up my original PlayStation because last time I did, the disc made a weird noise. I think the drive might be failing. The PS2 still sounds fine, but I think I need to invest in I don't know. I got to do some stuff.
And this kid should invest in Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, that's a good call.
OG, because we still have yet. The last time that game's ever been ported was on GameCube.
Yeah.
And one last example. This one is to prove the point of sometimes older games are better than the modern ones. Now they are I'm assuming a PlayStation household, so we have to stick to the PlayStation line of games. But maybe get him SmackDown or WWF SmackDown 2, Know Your Role, to show him that games can be better in the past than modern. Like a lot better.
Yeah.
Agreed.
we're gonna take that last story we have on our outline. We're gonna kick it to next week in favor of talking a little bit more about old video games right now. I think is there, because I mean it's come up, right? Like Halo Infinite is great, and I think the game is the best it's ever been gameplay wise, but there's stuff around the edges that just make it something that we're left desiring more. And I think that, I don't know, we see that from time to time, and it's a theme, and it's a reason why I still play older games and still have older things hooked up and still return to them. And is there a franchise that's actually gotten truly better with age that you can think of?
That's a weird question because
I know.
The last 3 months, I don't know why, but whenever you ask about past video games, I just immediately think of Metal Gear Solid. And it's weird because yes, I'm thinking of 5, right? 5, its gameplay is almost Hitman whereas you're kind of put into a sandbox, you can kind of approach it however, and that makes that you can't do that on PlayStation 1, right? But I think I mean, you could say it's because the story is already convoluted as all hell by the time we get to this point, but like the story in that game doesn't work well, and I think it's because they try to do a little bit too much with the freedom, or like they let the freedom tell the story a little bit too much. Where in Metal Gear Solid 1, like it's very tight knit. It has to be because of the way and the way the game is, the limitations of the console at the time. So, like, I don't know. That's very tricky because in some ways, I think gameplay has gotten better in some aspects, but, in other ways, it's regressed because it's lost that charm almost.
Yeah. Yeah, it's no longer novel, I don't think. Like, the PS2 era, I mean, we talk about that stuff all the time, or I'm always harping on it, but, like, that stuff where it's just, like, I don't know, like it's not perfect, like it's not refined, right? Like there was a lot of stuff back then that was like, it was okay that it was messy around the edges. I don't know, Mark, what do you think? Is there a franchise or a specific game that has gotten better with time?
See, like that's like, are we speaking just strictly like franchises?
I guess, unless you can think of like, fighting games are better now because blank, or you know what I mean? Like,
right. It's like, a lot of the games I'm thinking of, it's like they were great in 2D, but then when the transition to 3D happened, it was like some are good. It ebb and flows. Yeah. So it's not like a complete, increase the entire time. There's some dips, but it's probably in a good position now. Like, I guess, like you could probably play Zelda in that category. You could probably play Mario in that category. I don't know too many bad Mario games though, to be honest. Like some are probably like a little lukewarm or like lackluster, but overall still like pretty good, you know what I mean? Like still solid gameplay for the most part. Man, yeah, like
very recent, like in terms of multiplayer, I'm not going to talk for the campaign, but in terms of multiplayer, I think Halo Infinite has put the Halo multiplayer at the best it's been ever. And I bring that up because in some of the conversation about I was playing with some of my friends the other day, like the conversation went from the progression system, and then they were saying like the one guy was saying like, I don't know, I just don't like Halo. I don't think I like Halo. I missed the golden days of 2 and 3, but I didn't say anything then, but like I was just sitting there thinking about it for a bit. Like, go back to 2, like you can go back to 2 and 3 of the Master Chief Collection, play those, and then come back to this one. I bet you're gonna like this one a lot better, just because of like sprinting and things like that. But like mechanically, they play the same. It's just a couple different extra mechanics that this one adds. Now, granted, like 4 is not good. I did not like the loadout based stuff they tried in 4. 5, I like the Call of Duty stuff they started to add. I know that it didn't feel like Halo though in some aspects. Like I think this, like after like its peak and then it found this little valley, I think it's back to its peak again. And I think it's what Mark said. It's like some of those growing pains you kind of have to go through to kind of find how to revitalize and evolutionize your franchise.
I think the other side with the old Halo too, because I feel like I often do this, not just with Halo, but with other games where I'm like, oh, it was so much better back then, or I liked that so much better back then. But you were also comparing it against its contemporaries back then and against your time back then, right? Like when I think back to something like a Halo 3, not that I played a lot of it back then or much or at all, but like things I was doing back then were competing with what? A part-time job, school, being in a band, like just things like, not like, I don't know, just responsibilities now are like way different than they were now. Free time was way different than it is now. Now also remember, like, we have how many different streaming services and things for our attention. Like, we didn't use our phones back then as everything. Remember? Like, a phone was something you did to let people know you were on the way, or send them 8 = D and then move on with your life, right? Like, that's the extent of our text messaging. We weren't like having full conversations. We weren't whatever. Our idle thoughts were not happening as our thumb pushed up on a piece of glass. Like, I don't know, just how we were was different. So I think that looking back and saying Halo 2 was better, I have, just like your friend, that inclination to do that, but I think it was also like the time was better. I don't know.
Right. I mean, nostalgia's mixed up in that and stuff. And I know,
Yeah.
I know that person is specifically has not played the Master Chief Collection. So it's totally based in nostalgia. Not that I played the Master Chief Collection like last week and then playing Infinite now, but like I've played it enough to remember like there's no sprint. There's like the little modern things that is expected almost in all modern multiplayer shooters. Like
and you can get there. Like when we were all three in the Master Chief Collection, you can get in and have fun and whatever.
Right,
like I just played Quake Arena a week ago, and like it was fun, and I had a lot of fun. And if you guys today were like, let's play Quake, I would hop in and have a great time, and we could lose ourselves in that. But like, yeah, in terms of what the modern offering of a Halo Infinite is versus Halo 2, 3, etc., this is really, really. I agree. I think it is the best it's been for the gameplay. This is a little... Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Oh, Half-Life, I think, got better with each one.
Yeah.
I mean, that part of that is Valve waiting to release the new one when the hardware is ready to be pushed to its limit. Mm-hmm. So I think that has a lot to do with it. But no, that's true, though.
I mean, it's also not a big track record, so it has that going for it as well, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like that third, there's not a lot of them, but that third one, I think the internet was ready to shit on it, right?
Yeah.
And couldn't, yeah. I didn't mean to incidentally dunk on Jim Ryan yet again, but we've just proven that I guess no, we've proved the opposite. Shoot, we made Jim Ryan correct.
Not in every case. Sometimes, but like,
yeah.
I think part of it is going back to appreciate everything's comfort, because if you're just jumping into something like I don't know, like something like Fortnite now, like all right, cool, like that came from like the days of Arma, though. Like there's a little bit of appreciation to see the evolution of it, like how Arma turned into this DayZ mod, and then they used DayZ mod to create these little battle royale things, and then that dude who created the mod went on to create PlayerUnknowns, and then there was a reactionary shift from Epic. Like, it's nice to appreciate the evolution too. Even if it's good or bad, you can at least see where they were trying to do or what they were trying to do.
Right, and like any games that like use said evolution, I think that's something to be highlighted here, and I think that's something that Jim Ryan's out there need to recognize. Like, if it wasn't for those roots, it wouldn't be where it is now. Like, I think there has to be some type of honor or legacy there. Like, that's the core essence. That is what everybody appreciates about it. That's why, like, Metroid Dread plays like Super Metroid. That's why, like, Breath of the Wild plays so different from the first Zelda, but at the same time can feel just like it.
Yeah.
Because of that sense of exploration and what have you. And, like, if you were telling me if this was the year that like Skyward Sword was brand new, like it's the Wii, I'd have been like, man, yeah, games today really do suck. But now that Breath of the Wild came out, we live in that post world. It's like, all right, they're not all bad. It can always be good, but it had to go back.
Yeah,
I feel like they said it themselves. Like they had to go back to really do this. So like, yeah, roots matter.
I think, and then specifically with the Gran Turismo games, me personally, my favorite thing about the whole Gran Turismo thing is like you can look at the release year, and that's the benchmark for graphics that year. Like, because the car game has always been the pinnacle. Look what our console can do.
Yep.
And I think it's fun. Like, not even I haven't gone back to play one of them, but just like looking at a video of it, I just appreciate like where we were in that year. Like, I don't know when the first Gran Turismo was like 97.
I don't remember, something
like
that.
Looking at that and being like, man, we thought that was awesome back then. Like, graphically.
And it was.
And it was, yeah.
Yeah.
And, just to see that, just once again, appreciating the evolution to where we have gotten now. Yes, it's taken like 20 plus years of work to to get to what like a Forza Horizon looks like now, whatever Gran Turismo, whatever they want to call it, 8. It's not 8 though because they had sport. Anyway, see where that goes or whatever. But yeah, appreciating the ride, definitely.
Well, hopefully we helped solve the many problems of accidental, incorrect gifts by saving it with some game recommendations. Good luck to everyone doing holiday shopping. And yeah, what do you guys get into this week ahead?
I am still going to be Haloing it up. Probably like every day or every other day or something.
Heck
but
yeah.
coming with that holiday stuff, there's going to be sales everywhere, including on websites and digital storefronts of any kind. So Steam always being one of them. And what was it? Not too long ago, I pulled the trigger on Super Monkey Ball, Banana Blitz HD, and I got the Castlevania Advanced Collection.
Oh, man.
Finally. So
have you played any of those Castlevania Advanced? You played Aria, but did you play the other two?
I haven't played the other ones.
Yeah,
so
they're fun.
Definitely looking forward to it. And I never finished Aria, so that would be nice to actually like go back and actually play through it all. And just like Monkey Ball, it's been so long since I played any of those.
You got the newer one, right? Or
No, I think this was the
one from a couple years back.
Yeah, this like not the newest one that came out, but
that's the one I have. The one that you just got then.
Yeah, this is from like 2019, whatever.
Yeah. I grabbed that one I think last year. I've played a little bit of it. Yeah, those sales are something. I've opened up the Switch sale a couple times now, and I'm like, do I need Persona 5 Strikers? I'm like, no, I have to play Shin Megami Tensei 5. I have to get through that. I need to finish that. Matt, anything big this week?
It's the end of the ranking month of Magic. I'm very close somehow. I don't know how, but somehow to be reaching the mythic level. I kind of really want to see that through. So as the days wind down, I'm gonna try to do that. And now also I bought all those packs, and I think I have like 2 Crimson Vow cards in my deck. So I think I want to mess with Limited to really make sure I'm using the new cards that I've acquired. Through purchasing and packs and things like that. So double down on Magic, Halo. I'm always going to be around in completing those weeklies. I know I always mention other games. I never get to them. Realistically, it's going to be Halo and Magic.
I think I've finally made it through a good part in SMT, so I'm feeling the swell of that. Where I'm kind of like, okay, good. I'm past just the like grindy being in the same area. I've got some new challenges, new side quests, new things. That's been a lot of fun, and I've got a weird new bunch of team members. I've got some new demons in the roster. Very much enjoying what's happening with my team there.
Maybe you talking about that throughout the week will finally get me back into it.
It's just baby steps, man. Like again, because there's so much grinding, if you're sitting down to watch something that you're into, like, you don't need full, like, if you're gonna watch a movie, probably not, but like if you're just catching up on some TV show that's like whatever,
Tiger King
or you
season
just have background noise on, just throw that on. But I think also playing around with getting the Sonic stuff in Monster Hunter Rise kind of relit that a little bit, because I never finished the Akuma stuff. Even the Sonic stuff, I got some of the little statues that you get, but I need to do like one more challenge to get one more thing so I can make the Sonic costume for my cat. Because I also, when I do the multiplayer stuff, because you can only take the cat or the dog with you, I take the cat because it's better at finding things. I don't need the speed of the dog. And the cat actually just looks like Sonic, so it'll just be me and Sonic running through the town. What else? That's kind of it. I don't know. I was playing around with some of the old Valise games on TurboGrafx this week, or PC Engine rather, I guess, because I was playing those versions. But that collection's coming out in Japan, I think, next month, or January maybe. I don't remember. But I just started thinking about those again. I was like, man, haven't played them in a while. I'm happy they're under the ownership of a company who's just not going to turn them into porn games this time around and put out some fun platformers because they were fun, little action games. So yeah, I played a little bit of those the other night when I was on the phone. I find that like phone conversations with family, I heard this tip from one Frank Cifaldi of the Video Game History Foundation on a podcast, but like when you end up on those long phone calls, like grindy games like that are just fun if you end up on long phone calls. But I feel like, especially now with the, you know, how everything is, I end up talking to my parents a lot more than seeing them, you know, or we'll do FaceTime or something like that. And I think those things where it's just like, yeah, I'm going to run around and just play something stupid in the background that I don't need to like pay attention to or whatever. Like, cause I've tried Halo in the background of those conversations and it's always just like, you end up too many sticks clicking in the background, those types of things. But yeah, I think old little platformer things like that are approachable phone conversation games. Anyway, yeah. Side note, just real quick, we talked about PlayStation 1. PS1 Mr. Stuff is coming along nicely, so if you're interested and engaged in that, go check it out. Check out that Patreon.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm very excited. We're close, man. We're super close. That's all I got for now. Oh, you know what? I need to just play Shin Megami Tensei, but I really want to play Munch's Odyssey. I know it's not a good game, but it's now on backwards compatibility for $10. It's also on sale, the like, you know, newer HD version on Switch for $10, and I'm like, I want to be in that right now. So anyway, that is that. Podcast at thefreecheese.com. If you have a, hey, whoops, I bought this console scenario, what games do I get that you'd like us to review, write in, let us know. We'll give you some game recommendations. If you want to suggest a topic or ask us a question, podcast at thefreecheese.com is the best way to do that. You can also follow everybody on Twitter. The Free Cheese is at some Free Cheese. Mark is at og_mental. Matt at MattyIce131. That's it. We'll see you next week with another episode. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, listener, for listening. Bye.